I want to tell you a story today. In 2021, a guy named Mark bought Bitcoin at $60,000. He felt like a genius. Everyone on Twitter said that 100k level was guaranteed. He even convinced his parents to invest. 1 year later, Bitcoin crashed to $16,000. Mark panic sold. He swore crypto was a scam. Mark watched from the sidelines, too scared to buy again. And he didn't lose because he picked the wrong coin, of course. He lost because he didn't understand the market psychology. So in this video, I want to show you the emotional cycle that traps millions of investors and how to escape that. It's very, very important so you don't end up being like Mark. Because right now, we're in one of those emotional roller coasters, and probably a lot of you are afraid. So markets don't move randomly. They move in waves of human emotion. Think about your own experience. You buy when everyone is bullish. You sell when everyone is panicking. Probably a lot of you do this still. That's psychology. It's not strategy. It has nothing to do with technical analysis or strategy. Crypto cycles repeat because humans repeat the same mistakes. And I'll show you this chart which very clearly shows the emotional stages. The first stage is disbelief. Crypto is dead. And personally, if we try to apply this to where we are currently right now, I don't think we've reached the disbelief stage yet. Yes, we see people talking about crypto is dead, but I think we're going to go even further down where we would fully see crypto being dead. This is after a brutal crash. And if you look in 2022, if we want to give our example, Bitcoin crashed from 69k to 16k. Headlines said crypto was finished. FTX collapsed. People deleted trading apps, but whales were buying quietly. This is when smart money accumulates in this stage. Number 2 is hope. Maybe this time is different. You would hear a lot of people saying that. Prices slowly rise, people dip their toes back in. And if you look in the early 2023, 2024, Bitcoin moved from 16k to 30k. People were cautious. Nobody believed in a bull run, but this is where the early accumulation happens. Then the third stage is the optimism. We are back. Altcoins start showing signs of strength, they start pumping, crypto YouTube gets bullish again. You have here examples of Solana, AI coins, meme coins. They started exploding in 2024. I believe most of you were still around. And people felt smart again. Then now we are entering into a different territory here. Number 4, belief. Time to go all in. This is where people take loans, leverage, and go all in. In 2021, retail investors bought Dogecoin, bought Shiba Inu at the top. Some used a lot of credit cards and loans, and unfortunately, they ended up in debt. Number 5 is thrill. I'm a trading genius. That's what people start thinking in this stage. Everyone posts their unrealized profit screenshots, the P&L. Your barber tells you about an altcoin, and example here is 2021, the NFT mania, the NFT boom. People flipped so many of those for $100k and thought it was easy money, but they ended up again losing a lot of these people. Then number 6 is the euphoria. That's the top. Bitcoin to 1 million. This time is different. People quit jobs. Influencers launch tokens. And everyone thinks that risk doesn't exist in this stage. In 2021, people predicted that we would see Bitcoin to millions. Cathie Wood, she predicted Bitcoin going to 500k. Everyone believed, but smart money was selling at that time. Now, if we move on the other side of the curve, where is the crash and the emotional pain, we have complacency. People think it's just a dip. The market drops 20-30%, everyone buys the dip. And in 2021, 2022, people bought the dip at 50k, 40k, 30k, until the dip kept dipping. It is very likely what we are seeing right now. In 2026, we might see a very similar scenario. Bitcoin drop to 100k, drop to 90k, 80k, 70k. We are currently in the 60s. So we might see very similar way that Bitcoin is playing out to the previous cycle. That's why I'm giving you those examples and what the human psychology looks like in those moments. And hopefully you're already recognizing those patterns. Then we have anxiety. Why isn't it bouncing? People refresh charts every minute. They stop sleeping. They check Twitter for hopium. People want to find something to hold on to, some kind of hope. Then we enter into the denial stage. My coins are good projects. People hold dead coins to zero. They refuse to sell. Here you have Luna, you have Celsius, FTX token holders. Many refuse to sell until zero. This is what happened. Then we are moving to panic. Sell everything. This is where retail sells the bottom, unfortunately. 2022 capitulation when Bitcoin hit 16K. Everyone thought 10K was also coming, but we slowly see Bitcoin starting to climb up, and unfortunately retail sold the bottom. That's the final panic. And then the final part of all of this is the capitulation. Crypto ruined my life. People quit crypto forever. They tell friends it's a scam, and Google searches for Bitcoin dead peaked in 2022. Whales were buying massively at that time. So I want you to understand this. If you're holding solid projects like Bitcoin, it moves in cycles, and you see people going through all of those stages. The safe strategy is DCA, dollar cost averaging, and never to go all in. Always make sure you have more money, because as I said earlier, the dip keeps dipping. But eventually you would be successful. And then there is another part of this story, which is the quiet bottom. We see anger, people blame whales, they blame exchanges, they blame governments for what is happening. And we see depression, where portfolios are down 90%. Nobody posts about crypto anymore. This is when real builders and long-term investors accumulate quietly. And of course, if you're new to crypto, you might not understand this immediately. You might take 2 to 3 years to go through a cycle to understand how it works. But the only failure in crypto is if you quit. So please don't quit. Keep going and don't go all in. Don't think that it's very easy money. No, it takes patience, it takes time to learn, and it takes losing as well. You can't always win, especially if you're investing into small market cap projects. So you might think, why the cycles repeat? They repeat because humans are wired to buy when things feel safe and sell when things feel scary. But markets reward exactly the opposite behavior. That's why we see, unfortunately, retail buying tops, retail selling bottoms, and whales buying fear and whales selling greed. It's very distinctive, and that's what is causing cycles to repeat every single time. How can you make sure that you use all of this psychology to win? Is track sentiment, fear and greed index. You have that on CoinMarketCap, you have that on CoinGecko. It's very, very helpful. Buy in fear and sell in greed. As simple as it sounds. Twitter sentiment, check that. Google Trends, keep checking those if there are any searches for Bitcoin and keywords to help you. Number 2 is accumulate when nobody cares. Use the dollar cost average strategy during depression and disbelief. By the way, if you're watching this video right now, at this time, this is the perfect strategy. DCA on the way down as Bitcoin drops, because we are currently in disbelief, we're in despair and depression. Bitcoin dropped from 126k to 60k. This is a big drop, 50%, where it is a good time to accumulate. Sell when everyone is euphoric. When your Uber driver gives crypto tips, it's time to start scaling out slowly. And 4 is like control emotions. Your brain is your biggest enemy in crypto. Just analyze your emotions, try to understand what is happening, what is driving key decisions that you are taking. If I want to sell, what is triggering this? If I want to buy, what is triggering this on the other side? Remember Mark? He bought the top and sold the bottom and missed the next bull run. But someone else, let's call her Sarah, she bought Bitcoin at 16k when everyone laughed at her. She held through boredom. She sold part of her portfolio during the next euphoric peak. Same market, different psychology, and completely different outcome. So if you understand the cycle, you stop being exit liquidity and you start thinking like smart money. And in my Discord, I share cycle analysis, accumulation zones, and my real portfolio moves in real time. If you want to invest like a whale, join before the next phase begins, and now is the best time to make those moves. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.